PiPoMGa, what is pain? What is pain? What is pain? What is
All right. Yeah, I haven't done one of these in a while. I have no idea why now. PiPoMGa, what is pain? Now that's a tough one to pin down. Just from the top of my head, I would say there are certainly different kinds of pain. There is what I would call emotional pain. Then there is what I would call physical pain. And then there's also pain that basically happens more or less exclusive. You know, like, okay, let's say you're watching a movie and, well, that probably counts as emotional pain. So let's just say because we have an energetic body, which is weird. You see how complicated this is, because I don't understand why I'm solid. You know, what is matter? And then what's pain in relation to that? I mean, you can hit very hard on a rock, and who is to say that the rock does not feel pain? And then there's people that are really sensitive. I mean, I meet people that cut themselves or that have like minor injuries that I wouldn't even talk about because I'm used to walking barefoot for long distances. And I mean, I'm quite a sensitive child. But I can still, I mean, I've trained myself to withstand pain, and that includes emotional pain. I mean, there were times where I just had a moment where I was watching an episode of the OC, and there was this moment where I realized that one of the characters was basically my sister. And something, it felt like shame. Oh my God, that, my sister's like that. And then, all kinds of feelings. And of course, it's weird. I think we all know why I'm specific about these things. Because family can be quite painful. I mean, thinking about your parents' death that will eventually happen in the future, is very painful. But if you deal with the pain now without trying to create it, and then realizing, oh wow, I think we still have time. And that's probably something, whatever, time's relative, well, pain's relative. I mean, I've met people that were stung by a small scorpion. And what I read on the internet is that some people say it's just like a bee sting. And then the person that was stung by the scorpion said, well, it was the worst pain I ever had. Okay, I mean, that's very specific to her. But my question is, why? I mean, I can imagine more painful things. It's like some women give birth and they say, well, I don't understand why other women are screaming so much. Well, because the women that know what to do breathe. So what's pain? Well, all I can say is, because I don't believe in all these I don't know what science is just crap to me. Everything science says is just bullshit. It explains nothing. It's just a bunch of words that sound very smart, but it's just complete crap. Everything science says is complete bullshit. That's my opinion. That's my very firm belief. Which is why I don't give a crap what they say about pain. I acknowledge that there are people who believe what science says, but, you could probably explain pain away. I don't understand it. I have pain in my lower back at the moment, and that's a kind of a pain that I used to have, but it was gone. And now suddenly it's back, and I have no idea where it's coming from. And it's probably something energetic, because I'm just going through some, I just cracked, what you would say, you cracked your ankle. But I don't see it like that at all. I didn't crack my ankle. I feel like, there was some kind of, demonic entity living in my ankle. What was it doing there? What was this energy doing in there? So now I have to pull it out. Because if I don't pull it out, I'm going to be weak. It's going to weaken me. So I have to draw poison, like bad energy, like out of the wound. And I'm doing this by paying attention, by focusing, and it's already getting better. I mean, I'm just standing here, talking to you, and what's supposed to be 3 days, which to me is an eternity, because time is relative, and so is pain. So why do I just now feel this pain in my lower back? Maybe the reason I'm feeling is so that I can talk about it, and then try to understand what it is, and give you ideas. I think it's spreading from my left foot, which is also the feminine side. It's spreading upwards, and there's something then in my right lower back. It's like a piercing. If you would have to label it, it would be probably, I don't know. I've had this for a long time. It's like an old wound. And maybe I just have to start taking care of it more. I don't know why it's happened now. I didn't really change much. I've been living like this for a long time, but this kind of pain was gone. And maybe I just blended it out. Maybe I just acted like it did not believe, and maybe it's because I haven't gone, but it can't be the bouldering. I have walked a lot, but time is relative. I just spent an eternity laying in bed again because of my left foot. Which means time is indeed relative. And I feel like I'm back in the 8. So I have to break it, get out of it, which is why I'm standing here instead of just lying around moping and recording more content, which makes no sense because now I'm living still at the end of March. Well, today's what's pain? Okay. Okay, if you take the word, this is how, I have to get back into this, okay? I'm not going to record this again. Whatever I say is probably somehow valid. This is not about perfection. So when I walk barefoot, I feel pain. I can breathe through it. Pain is something you sometimes just have to accept. The pain of having lost someone. It's not real. It's not going to kill you unless you want it to. You can convince yourself that something is so hard on you that you're just gonna have a heart attack because you just keep the energy trapped. So pain is energy. So I would say that if you walk barefoot, and I have the same thing, I walk barefoot, and there's stones, and sometimes they hurt. To me, that's just energy. If my entire body would be sorted out, I don't think I would feel any pain. But my body apparently still needs a lot of kneading and pounding and maybe massaging and stretching, and so that the energy can flow better. So I would probably describe pain as there's an energetic blockage and you have to work with that. And you can use acupressure, you can use PiPoMGa, you can massage it, you can do whatever you want, right? You can take a cold shower, a hot shower, there's people that go to doctors for pain and then they just take something to get rid of the symptom. And because you believe that it works, it's going to get rid of the symptom for you. What's the cause of your headache? Just taking an aspirin is just going to make you believe it's gone. But the cause, what's causing you to have a headache, it's still there. And if you just keep taking things, like antidepressants, it's not going to get rid of your depression. It's just going to alleviate the symptoms. But the way to do it is to simply massage your neck, right? Sometimes I massage my neck and I feel pain in my forehead. There's so many ways to really heal your body if you simply take the time and you sit down and you just feel your body. You just feel your arms, your neck, and then you just look for lumps. I do this occasionally, so I'm actually kind of fine, but sometimes I have things and they just hurt. And then I have to deal with it. Sometimes I feel pain somewhere in my foot and it makes no sense. There's nothing. And then I dig around with a needle and there's no glass, there's nothing. And then I keep feeling the pain and then I realize, okay, I have to do something, but then I don't know what. And that's often the problem. Well, just listen to people who talk about healing. I would always call every healing, it's kind of like energy healing, just getting back into flow. And then back to the question, what's pain? The German word, I don't want to do it. I don't like German. Okay, it's called Schmerz. Schmerz. Schmäh says nothing. It's an empty word. It's just a word. What's pain? It's just a word. Aua, that hurts. Yeah, it's just a word. It's just a habit. It's habitual. Oh yeah, I was stung by a scorpion. You can literally die from something just because you believe it could kill you. You could die from old age just because you think that's supposed to be like this. You could have a bad back at the age of 80 just because you think you're supposed to have it. Because that's the image that's being drawn, right? Right? You're like kind of being sucked dry by the industry, and in the end you're just an empty shell. Well, how about you start doing some planks again? How about you just start believing in your ability to heal again and to be whole? And that's like rewriting the stars. You're gonna blow your entire game because now you believed your entire life that at 80 you're gonna have white hair and you're gonna look old. And suddenly you're still young. And everybody around you starts aging and you just feel like, I don't know what's happening. People get older and older and I'm just getting younger. Suddenly I feel like a child again. So what's pain? I've seen women give birth And they believed we were one at the moment. And just because she thought it's supposed to, she even wanted it to be painful. So she was pressing it in and keeping it in and holding it in because she actually didn't want it to come out because she believed life is shit. And once the child is out, you have to do things. You have to change diapers if you use diapers. You have to feed it. You have to pay for it as long as it's still in the body. I mean, oh yeah, I'm pregnant, right? It's like, nice life. People take care of you. And then you're a mother. It's like, meh. Hard job. So what's pain? I mean, just to quote Jerry, he says from Rick and Morty, life is effort and it'll stop when I die. Yeah. Then everything just dissolves. Well, until then, you just have to try to make life as, livable as you can for yourself. And what does that mean? Well, sometimes I spend time with people and they talk about subjects and it's so painful to listen to this. I'd rather go somewhere else. How does this, the word pain in relation to speaking about, a topic in a conversation or the company of other people or somebody scratching with long fingernails across a blackboard, how does this relate to the pain of giving birth or being born or having your arm chopped off, How does this relate to each other? Or being stabbed into I was once stabbed into my thumb, and I felt nothing. I felt nothing. The pain came much later. And then people say, yeah, your brain just didn't. No, there's no brain. What the brain does is not what people tell us it does. I mean, I don't know what the brain does, but it's not, nobody, it's like what Rupert Sheldrake says. Nobody can explain to you where thoughts are being stored or where memories come from. So, who are you in this body and what's pain? I think that's a question we all have to answer for ourselves, because what's painful to you is very individual. It's just like, how do you like your breakfast? I mean, if you really get to what you specifically like, how do you like your apartment to look like? Not your partner, not anyone else, just you. How would you like your life to be? What do you want? These are very specific questions. But often we just orient ourselves on the behavior of others. Oh, somebody, let's say, cuts himself with a knife while chopping onions, Don't manifest it. Pay attention when you're chopping onions. So you don't cut yourself. So don't be an idiot, right? Don't look for it in everything. Don't, keep choosing partners that are gonna hurt you. Maybe, or choose the one that's gonna hurt you a lot. And then heal together if that works, right? But just don't, if you keep shouting, just distance yourself for a while and then get back together and have awesome, we really love each other's sex. So what's pain? Well, I would say it's perspective. I would suggest it's a perspective. You see someone hit himself with a hammer on the thumb, and then you have one guy and he starts crying, or a girl or whatever, and then you have someone else and he just looks at it and the thumb is bleeding and he just looks at it with interest, and then it's getting blue and he's like, what's gonna happen next? And then somebody says, hey, he's like, that guy's crazy, he's weird. No, he just has a different perspective on this. He knows how to distance himself a little bit from this painful reality. I meet people that say, yeah, life is really, it's the worst kind of planet. We were being born into here to really suffer. yeah, I mean, isn't life partly suffering? I mean, eating is effort, shitting is effort. But somewhere in between, it's nice. Okay, constipation is maybe less nice, but when you get rid of the constipation and you know what to do to get rid of it, that's what I'm talking about. Energy's trapped. Work with it. What kind of pain is it? You think you've got a crippled foot? Work with it. I think you can revive it. But for that, you have to pay attention. You have to massage it. You have to believe in it, that this foot can be strong again. You have to focus on it. And I believe Joe Dispenza has talked about healing his spine, I don't know, there's somebody that healed his spine. I mean, there's people that grow teeth back. So, what are you supposed to believe? I distance myself from everything that science says, because what science says is supposed to be like, set in stone. And to me, nothing is set in stone, because everything is energy, which means on a certain level, everything's fluid. And words are probably the most fluid and flexible thing. Just look at the word, solidarity, right? Depending on who says it, in what circumstances, completely different meanings. I can talk about pain. Having a painful conversation, it means it's annoying. And then I can say pain and I just stabbed my foot with scissors. I mean, where's how is this related? Which makes you realize it's just a word. And depending on the situation, you can put, it was so painful. What's painful? I mean, what's painful in relation to somebody who's just been tortured by the Inquisition for weeks, right? I mean, what's painful? Well, it's a feeling, apparently. What's feelings? Apparently is energy, I have no idea. But what I do is that there are things that seem painful or feel painful, and all you can do is work with it. Acceptance, and then look at it. Be a bit interested in the pain. I mean, there are people that are having surgery, which is an experience I don't think anybody needs, which means, just try to live your life just a bit careful. Don't go looking for all these injuries, don't get into fights for no reason, or because somebody, right, some people feel pain if their mother is being insulted by somebody who doesn't even know the mother. It's like, how could that be painful? It's just words. Like, it's so, it's no. You're just expecting it to be painful. If you expect birth, the birthing process or giving birth to be painful, then it's gonna be painful. So it's better not to listen to women that tell you horrible stories about birth, because it's gonna shape the way you experience giving birth yourself. Which is why I like to live my life with people that at least know how to trust a little, which is basically nobody. So I have to have my unique perspective on things, so I don't get drawn into weird perspectives from other people, right? Because I meet so many people that say they're spiritual, but in the end, they just go around thinking everything's bad. I mean, they don't even see what's good anymore. And that's painful to me. So I have to let go of it. I think that's the thing. You have to let go of the pain. And that's very hard. I don't know how that works.